everyone, I'm Rebecca from the Glitch Stitchery. I'm here today with another Pencast. This one will be for June, which it's kind of a special Pencast for me because June 30th is my wedding anniversary. So a large part of this Pencast will be me trying out my newest pen, which was my anniversary gift from my husband. So haven't opened it yet at all, it's just been in here. So we're going to be filling up my sailor pens, including my new sailor pen. Have the inks all picked out for that. And I do have other pens filled right now. So this is my ink log for this particular moment. And as you can see, quite a few other pens are already inked. I have these ones here. I have some in my case that comes with me all the time. That's what I just zipped up and put away. But we're going to be filling my sailor pens specifically. So before we start filling everything, let's get the new pen opened up. And I actually have two new pens to open up, but we're only going to be filling one of them. So let's start with the 2022 Pen of the Year. So this one I got a zoom nib because pretty much all of my Progear Slims I get zoom nibs. Look how pretty that is. I think I've mentioned before that I get a new fountain pen each anniversary. So most years, well, I say most years, this is our 4th anniversary. So the other years I've picked the pen and then Mike has bought it, or, you know, I buy it with his, I don't want to say permission, that's not the right word. Now I'm messing this up. All right, so all the other ones have been ones that I have specifically chosen. And they've pretty much all been pilot. This year, I showed him a list of, I think it was 4 or 5 different pens. And I let him pick which one he wanted to give me, and this is the one he picked. And I really like it. I think they called it Soda Pop Blue on the website. So pretty, and it's full of glitter. And it goes really well with the rest of my collection. Gold trim. Oh, why did I do that? I need to put the converter in. So we are going to fill all these in a minute, but right now I'm just going to put it in its place in the case, and then I will show you the other pen I wanted to open. So here's my sailor collection. The first sailor I ever bought was this one, actually. So this is the, where's my list? The 1911 large in the color 4 AM, and I bought it with a music nib. And this one's pretty new to me. This one, where's my pronunciation sheet? I hope I get this right. Kure Azure Progear Standard in medium fine. Then we've got the Progear Slims. So I've got Blue Green Nebula, Lucky Charm, and the new one, Soda Pop, all in zoom nibs, and the white Magnolia in broad. So yeah, a lot of these I bought and then I haven't filled at all yet just because I was waiting for a special occasion, and filling them with my favorite inks in celebration of my 4-year anniversary just seems appropriate. So we're gonna do that, but I want to show you the other sailor pen first. This one is also new to me. I guess there's technically 2 pens in this. I'm not filling it yet because it's kind of a special category and I'm not ready to use it right now. So this gorgeousness is the 1911 limited edition set Prophet Makie Fude de Manin set. So this plain one is a brush nib, brush pen. And then this one with the Makie is just, oh, I kind of want to buy an actual gold nib for it, sometimes, right now it has the Fude nib. Sometimes I can find just like the standard, is that the right size standard? The small ones, 1911 standard, I think. Sometimes I can find just a plain black one with a gold nib for really cheap. So it would be nice to just take one of those and steal the nib unit out of it and put it in this so it could have a proper nib. I like the Fude nibs, but I like the other nibs more. So I have this. I just wanted to show it to you. I'm not ready to use it yet. It's so pretty and it has such a fancy box. And I dropped everything. Yay. How did this fit in here? I know everything fit in here originally. Maybe like that. Okay. So I got this from Pensachi. I think they still have them. They were there last time I checked. All right, so let's get to filling some pens. Put down one of my tried and true pen filling washcloths. And I think all of these have converters, so I don't need to use a syringe this time. That's good. I had a paper towel around here somewhere. There we go. I think we're ready. So, starting with the 4 a.m. This one has a special place in my heart. It's one of my first gold nibbed pens. And what happened was I was just starting to research gold nibbed pens, and I had been talking about it a lot with my grandfather, who always encouraged my hobbies quite a lot. And then he unfortunately and extremely unexpectedly passed away around the same time that we had been talking about it. I'm not getting a good kind of fill here. And it was really unexpected and sudden. There we go. And he had left a little bit of money to each of us with a note that he wanted us to invest it in something that made us happy. So a hobby, basically. And that's when I bought this pen. So I don't ink it very often because it is very special and I don't want to damage it or lose it. But I just filled it with my favorite blue ink, and every time I use it, I'm gonna think of him. So this one is J. Harban Eclat de Saphir. Guessing on the pronunciations here. In French class, they were like, your writing is great, your reading is great, your grammar, your spelling, it's all great. Your accent sucks. So it is what it is. All right, next we've got this one, and I watched 8 separate videos to try to figure out how to pronounce this. I'm still not sure I got it right. Kure Azure or something like that. I gotta be close. This one is a medium fine nib. I never buy medium fine nibs, but it's the only option I could find, and I really wanted that really bright neon finial because it's so cool. And ironically, I didn't actually realize it was a full-size Progear. I thought it was a Progear Slim like the others. So, and I've added a yellow converter. So it gets here and I'm picking it up. I was like, huh, that feels a little bigger than I expected. And I stick it in my case. I'm like, oh, it is bigger. All right, that's fine. I had wanted to get one eventually so I could test it out and see what the difference is. I was originally going to get the Soda Pop Blue as a Progear, but I like the slim versions. They're comfortable. So this ink is Sailor Color 464. It's one of my favorite Sailor inks. Inky fingers are a sign that I'm doing my job correctly. Mostly kidding. All right. All right, so medium fine is a lot scratchier than what I'm used to. Just, well, not scratchy even, because it's not like it's catching the paper. I'm just used to such large nibs that it feels a little weird, but there's definitely circumstances where a fine nib is a better option. So it's not a bad thing, it's just something I'm gonna have to get used to because all of my others are Musics, Zooms, and Broad. Those are pretty different. All right, blue-green Nebula next. I love this one. I love all of these. I definitely have a type when it comes to Sailor. I love translucent blue. I almost bought the blue dwarf one. It was on the list of ones I had Mike pick through for my anniversary gift. He did not like that one. He doesn't like the solid colored ones. He really only likes the demonstrators. I definitely prefer demonstrators. I just really like that the blue dwarf has glitter in it. Solid with glitter isn't something I necessarily see that often. And yes, you may be thinking, those are not standard converters. You are correct. I try to buy the Sailor compass converters in colors to match the pens. And just because it's an added level of interest for me. So blue-green Nebula has a green converter. If I remember right, this color is very similar to 464. So this one is Sailor California. Okay, it's a little darker. Though that could also just be because it's a much broader, wetter nib. And then for Lucky Charm, we're going to do Califolio, Blue Ultramarine. Trying to think if any of those words could have been pronounced incorrectly, but I honestly don't know anymore. So for this one, I gave it a blue converter. This is fun. All right. I do like this shade of blue quite a bit. I did go a little heavy on the blues and greens this particular fill, but that is what I like. I have more shades of blue and green and teal and turquoise than any other color in my collection because that's what I enjoy. And I'm sorry if you hear any noise from my neighbors outside. The kids are just getting out of school, so my neighbors upstairs are a little loud at the moment. Califolio. Is that 2 L's and 1 L? There we go. I love inks with subtle shading. So there is shading, but it's not so much that it's distracting or hard to read. All right, so anniversary pen. And for a match to it, and this is very sentimental of me, so you can laugh at me if you want, but last anniversary I had a box of how do you pronounce that, Buggy box, something. I didn't look that one up. I should have looked that one up. So they have a color called June Bride something blue, and I bought it for my anniversary. That's what we're going to fill the anniversary pen with. Remember, right, this is a fairly pale blue. I think I've only used it once or twice because I want to save it. That's why I even kept the box. I never keep the boxes, or hardly ever. I do more often with Sailor because they tend to have information on them, and like this one has the number on top, so it makes it a little easier for me to find it in my drawers. I have a whole cabinet of ink, and it's hard to find the right one sometimes. Oh, it matches really well too. That's great. Oh, I love that. I'll have to show Mike when he gets back from work how well that matches. That's perfect. All right, the last one, I also haven't inked yet. I've had it for a while now, but it just didn't seem like the right time to ink it because it is really fancy looking. So this one was a Bungie Box exclusive, and instead of having sailor writing all over it, it has special writing. So on the cap it says, "I wish you a lot of happiness," and there's a little magnolia flower, and there's a magnolia on the finial. And then on the nib it says, "Ink tells more." It's just such a beautiful pen. It is the only one that broke my streak of only buying blue sailors. So got a red converter in there. Well, I say that I do have, as you saw, the Majohn A1, so that's black and gold. And then I have one other black one that has the Team Rocket symbol on it. So I guess that's technically black and red. But in terms of special, fancy, limited edition colors in Progear Slim, like I normally get, this is my only red one. Am I the only one that has neighbors that are just super loud all the time? I swear, sometimes they're up there moving furniture for like 2 hours straight. Mostly I ignore them, but occasionally I can hear it in the background of my videos and it drives me crazy. All right, J. Urban Rouge Granat. Now this one is a broad instead of a zoom, so I can feel it as being a little bit less than the zoom nibs. It's not quite as chunky, it's not quite as smooth because there's not as big a surface area, but I do really like it. They didn't have zoom as an option, unfortunately. All right, so those are my inks for this particular fill. I'm very happy with these. I'm just going to doodle a little bit with the pens I have inked up and just see how similar the colors look. So let me move this stuff out of the way. Probably gonna just let that paper towel dry and then keep using it next fill too, because I didn't actually cover that much of it. So this is the case that comes with me everywhere. It has usually 4 fountain pens and then 2 non-fountain pens, but right now it has 6 fountain pens in it. I do really like all of these, but these are just like ones I feel comfortable taking out of the house, basically. So let me set the inks aside. I'll put them away after the video's over. Then we have all of these. So we're gonna just write with them for a little bit, or actually probably doodle with them, that's more fun. And I can do these as well. So let's do that. Music nibs are really interesting. The Sailor music nib only has the 2 tines instead of the 3 tines, but it's still like a really chunky stub. It has more feedback than some of the other music nibs I've tried from other brands. I can hear it while I'm writing with it, which is not always a pleasant experience for me. It's not like it's misaligned or anything, it's just the Sailor pen. It has kind of like a pencil noise to it. And I really don't have every size Sailor nib, so it's not like I can compare them all for you, but there's a 21 karat music nib for you. And then we have the 21 karat medium fine, which will be completely different. I don't know if the trim color makes any difference in the smoothness of the nibs. I haven't personally noticed any difference. Oh man, that is so fine. I really don't buy fine nibs, but I could write so small with this. This might convert me. I like that. And if I was more open to finer nibs, then I would be able to buy the limited editions that only come in finer nib sizes, and I wouldn't be annoyed about it. Yeah, I could play with this all day. Alright, cool. Have to be careful not to put too much pressure down, of course. Alright. So 464 is more green than I remembered. That's interesting. It might just be because of the nib it's coming out of. I thought it had more blue to it. I knew California had a lot of green to it. It reminds me of, oh, what is that color called? There's a, not Diamine Sherwood. It's a Monteverde color, maybe Sequoia or something along those lines. It's similar to that, but just slightly more blue leaning. I love zoom nibs. It's like writing with a marker. It even has that like unevenness to the side of the lines like a marker does, if you know what I mean. These are like the Sharpies of the fountain pen world. One of my future videos should probably be me swatching all my different blues and greens. Because honestly, they get a little repetitive. I have a lot of them and there is some overlap, but it would be nice for me to show you a lot of the different ones so you can see the differences and similarities. There are some that are very, very close, but are like a little bit different in ink qualities, like maybe more shading, less shading, or waterproof versus not waterproof, dry versus wet but the same color, stuff like that. So it might be worth swatching them all out for you. Alright, here comes June Bride. Mentally, I keep remembering this one as a much lighter blue color, but I think I'm thinking of a different Sailor ink I have. What is that one called? Sky Blue? Sky High. That one's very light. Hardly ever use it because of how light it is. I also have an incredibly pale Sailor greenish. I don't even know what to call it. It's green. It's not green blue, but it's like fairly green. I don't know. I don't use that one very often either. Sometimes colors look very different online than they do in person. The Rouge Granat is similar to the Diamine Red Dragon, which is my favorite red-ish. It's not like red, it's like a... It's not a red-black either. I don't know. It's like a rusty type of red. I love those categories of reds especially. But it's the Rouge Granat is just a little bit more brown leaning to me, while the Red Dragon is slightly more red leaning. I need to buy a new bottle of Red Dragon. I'm almost out. Alright, so that's all of the Sailor pens. Let's see, what do I have inked up for other ones? So I have a Pilot Falcons. This one has Diamine Bored Banana, I think, which is a very weird yellow. I don't know, I have mixed feelings about this yellow, which is why I haven't managed to empty this pen yet. I would have liked to have this one emptied and cleaned before I'd filmed this video, but didn't want to waste the ink either, so now I'm still working on it. Can you even see that color? I'm not sure. I might have to adjust the lighting on the footage after I'm done. All right, my blue one, which was the anniversary gift that came with the June Bride ink. Is that right? Yeah, that's right. All right. So this one I have filled with the color Diamine Michael, which Mike likes very much because it's named after him and it's one of his favorite colors. So that makes him happy. I would love if there was a color named Rebecca, but it would probably be spelled wrong, so there's that. What would that color even be? I mean, I guess in terms of the inks I use most often, it would either be some sort of teal or turquoise, or it would be like fluorescent hot pink. Yeah, I could go with that. Maybe like fluorescent hot pink with silver shading. Would that be possible? That'd be cool. Alright, this one has Diamine Cerise, which is another ink I really like. But this one is my current favorite of my Pilot pens because this one is the coarse nib, which still isn't quite, well, is it actually? It's pretty similar to the Zoom nib. I'm not sure which one is actually thicker. The problem is that the coarse nib does not come in very many color options. It just comes with the black with gold trim and you have to import it. I had to have this sent over from Japan, which is not as big a hassle as it sounds, but I would love some color options. I would love to have it in the demonstrators with silver trim for the custom 74s for Pilot, but they don't really make the fun nibs and the fun colors, so I deal with it. All right, we got a Safari with Waterman's Tender Purple that I inked up last Pencast and haven't managed to empty yet. And also from last Pencast, we've got a Diplomat Magnum with Conklin Vintage Purple. I do really like this purple. If I buy another Diplomat Magnum, I'm gonna get one with a broad nib. I kind of want that one, what is it called? It's a Goulet exclusive. I had it written down. Prismatic Purple. I want to pick that one up at some point, but I have to have more that I want from there than just that one pen. Like, I prefer to do one big order than a bunch of little orders, and also I need to actually have the money set aside for that, which at the moment wouldn't really be wise because we're talking like a several $100 order usually. Maybe I'll wait for another like Sailor exclusive or something that I want and save up for it. Not that I know of any coming out. Well, there is one, but I don't need any more because I just don't. There's just not really any more answer to that. I don't need any more pens, let's be honest here. I'm good. I have quite a few. Don't really need more inks either, but here we are. All right, so that was fun. What else can I put in here? I guess I have my cheap pens. So this one is Pilot Explorer with a stub nib, and I just keep putting more Pilot pink cartridges in it because I love Pilot pink cartridges. I kind of use it as a highlighter, actually. So either as a highlighter or I'll use it to write notes along the side of what I'm working on. And then it's such a different color that I see it better, if that makes sense. I do love bright colors though. My favorite ink of all time is the Pilot Iroshizuku Susuji, but it's a little on the pricey side for me, so I don't use it very often. I save it. I was going to use it to ink one up today, but I didn't have any of the pens where I thought it would really go with it. So I'll have to think about it, see if I can put it in one of them later after I empty it out. Which one? Maybe after I finish up the Diamine Cerise, I'll put it in there. Oh man, now I'm second guessing myself. Am I pronouncing Diamine right? Constantly getting comments about my crap. Do you ever overthink something so hard that then you can't even speak? Alright, cool. Pronunciation of different pen words. And then I look them up and I practice and I try to get it right the next time, and then I'll find some other word to trip over because that's just how it goes. Alright. I love this pen. I didn't think I would love this pen this much because it's a little heavy, but it comes with me everywhere. This one is the Majohn A1, I think. Where do I have that written down? Yeah, Majohn A1 Clipless in red, but then I put an actual Pilot Vanishing Point nib unit in there, and just a broad with silver trim. Well, rhodium trim, I guess. I love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. It's so smooth. No, I'm not going to bother with those three. Those three pens are just the permanent inks that I always keep on hand for journaling. So I'm just going to end it here, I guess. That was fun for me. I don't know if it was useful for anyone other than me, but it doesn't have to be either. I kind of do these for myself. So if you have any questions, leave them below. If I severely screwed up my pronunciation of all these words, let me know. I will continue practicing, and I will see you again next month. See you later.